Yes, sir. Here we are.
Yo, chef. Another one, dog. Damn, man. We about to hit 20, dog.
What we on?
We on 19 today. 19 today.
Damn. Such a pleasure, dog. Such a pleasure, King. Here we are.
It's man, it feels dope, dog. Coming in every Tuesday, doing it, knocking it out, seeing yourself on Friday and shit.
Absolutely. You just like to give a shout out to Chef Marco Olivares. Appreciate you coming to the podcast today.
For sure. Thanks for having
Chef
me.
over at
Lola Rose.
Lola Rose.
Yes, y'all know it's my favorite restaurant. I'm just
plug the restaurant, man. Give the address and what's the address at Lola Rose?
The address, it's
Cimarron.
7470 Cimarron Marketplace.
If you guys haven't been there, man, I haven't been myself, but now I gotta go since the chef's here.
Yeah, gotta take it for sure.
You gotta serve me up. You gotta serve me up in the back in the kitchen.
Whenever
chef's
you
table.
want.
Do you have one of those?
Good
fellas.
fellas, like good fellas, man.
Don't make room.
All right, I want to bring my lady in through the back, like, you know what I mean, all suave and shit.
Damn, watch out. That costs a little extra. I know that.
I got you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know.
Well, Chef, how was your week, man? How was this past week, dog?
Chef, King, you know how we do, man. Just grinding it out. I had a little bit of trouble with the car. You know what I mean? It's a car situation, but we got it resolved. Nothing came out of my pocket. In fact, I was even reimbursed a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's over and done with. Ubers got paid, but the work got done. That's all that matters.
The work got done, man. Even though you was taking a little hit right there, right?
Hey, everybody was happy in the end. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Service, man. That's impeccable service, dog,
1,000,
sure,
dude.
bro.
Yeah, and then the weekend, kind of slow, but I did a great breakfast. So doing good things always, man. Grinding it out, trying to get to that next level.
That's what's up.
How about you, man? How was your week, dog?
Bro, this past week was jumping, dog. Like,
Word?
I finally saw what it could be, you know what I mean, on a consistent basis, dog. I had Almighty in there, Joey. They were doing tattoos. The machines, when you walk in, the machine's going off. You walk into the back, loud music playing off. These guys are cutting hair. There's people next door in the garage shopping for like vintage clothing and shit, all at the same
hitting
time, bro.
All cylinders,
yeah,
dog.
all cylinders, man.
That's what's up.
And bro, if it would kind of like, I'd catch myself just kind of like looking and watching and shit, and like going into the front and talking to these guys. And bro,
you built that, dog. Seriously, dog.
Bro,
Seriously, that was nothing but you putting the pieces together like a Lego. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Seriously.
sir. Yes, sir. And then other than that, man, just the schedule, dog. Barbering. I was cutting. You know what I mean? I stay busy, bro. I have my weeklies. I have my you know what I mean? I stay busy, so it's kind of hard to. Plus, I'm in the midst of
your event, drip event,
the drip event, and also just fixing up the crib, dog. You know what I'm saying? Taking accountability for the house too, you know what I mean, and all that shit though. So it's like all day, every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not working,
those puppies in the backyard are missing you, dog.
Yeah, man. For real, dog.
Hell yeah.
But no, I can't complain, man. God is good, dog.
Yeah, straight up.
What's that drip event?
Huh?
What's that drip event?
It's on August 6th, dog. From 1 to 6, we're having an event. It's a pop-up event. We're going to have like some vendors out there. They're going to be selling products and stuff. Chef's going to be there. He's going to be...
we're making some food.
You're going to be handing out some tacos, right?
Absolutely,
Free tacos?
Absolutely, yeah. Savory tacos, gourmet
man,
tacos.
So if you have a chance, dog,
sure.
I mean, I know you're probably busy, but stop by, man.
Right there, Lee Trino, James Watt, in the... What's it?
11394. James Watt, Suite 102.
Nice.
Drip
For
event.
sure.
It'll be a grand opening. You guys can see the drip studio, what King Vic has to offer.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
I mean, from the tattoo studio right when you walk in to the drip studio where you can get cut up, and then the vintage clothing by Planet. I mean, Planet Throwbacks putting it down. It's really,
that's cool.
It's really cool
all
studio.
In one. Look at you.
Man. Bro, I had to, man. I've always had that vision of I like clothing, I like tattoos, I like cutting hair. So hey, why not mix them up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
But it's the collaboration too, to find the people to collab with too.
Exactly,
man. That was
exactly. I wasn't just looking for anybody. You know what I mean? So shout out to the team. Drip
There
Squad. I just gotta say Drip Squad.
Drip Squad. We got a new saying. Watch out,
man. That's it. Every time we come in, people would just randomly say Drip Squad. We're like Drip Squad.
That's what's up. So when you all drop by, you got to fucking shout out Drip Squad.
Drip Squad. Yes, sir.
So Chef, how you doing, man? It's a pleasure for you to be here, man. Thank you so much.
Honestly, sure. Thank you guys for having me.
How was your past week, man? How was the past 7 days for you?
It's good.
Yeah?
Very busy. Busy as can be. Thank God we're busy.
Exactly. Putting our passion to the test every day.
Sure.
Thank you so much for being here. I know the day that I asked
He's been
you,
speaking. I just want to let you. He's been speaking on your name.
I know, but it's all in good. You know what I mean? Because I can tell you. Let me tell you my history real quick. Because I worked at Costco for 13 years.
Yeah,
and,
we go back. Like we actually know each other through my sister.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what's crazy. Is for 13 years I worked at Costco, and then his sister Viviana would talk about him like, oh, he's a chef. Oh, you're a chef. Oh, and we'd talk conversations, and then like, it's weird to like know somebody like from a distance, you know what I'm saying? Like, you say you're a chef, like what restaurant? Like I'd like to go check them out, but it was never that. And then once December came, Lola popped off, and I was like, dude, this is serious. This is serious restaurant. I saw the menu, I saw the ambiance, and I saw everything. I talked to Viviana. I was like, Viviana, like, who the fuck is your brother? Like, damn, like, seriously.
And my sister would be like, hey, I have a friend that's a private chef. He went to school and everything. I was like, oh, cool. Like, what's his name? Clay Berry. Like, he's a private chef. We want to hire him. I was like, oh, very nice. Like, no idea.
Hey, you could have been a Lola Rose representative.
And you know what I mean? God puts us on this path for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And how we cross paths is
Would
great.
you ever be into something like that? Having chef go in there?
He's always said that. No, he's very humble.
I always invite him over.
Yeah, he's very humble.
He just never goes. But
exactly. Yeah. I'm the one who's
you gotta lock that shit down.
I'm the one who's slacking. No, you know what?
Chef,
everybody's humble over there. I swear to God. So anyway, we had I just got to know him. I researched who he was. I saw him in the competition chef uniforms, and I was very impressed. I got to tell you, I saw you in your element. I saw how how you respected the coat. You know what I'm saying? So I really, from that day, just had a really big respect for you. And here's the weird part. I have this crazy idea about a culinary competition before I got to know him, before I knew who he was. So I was like, man, I'd love to invite him to be in the culinary competition. You know what I mean? I had no idea what it is, or I still don't. I'm still creating it. But I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I sent that message. That was my first to get to know him. I was like, hey, if I challenge you, would you be down to be in a culinary competition? That was my first like shout out to this guy.
What's up, dog?
And he's still humble, and he still like was like I don't know how to say it. He's a cool guy, man.
Came in like 50 Cent, man.
I thought about that for the weeks later, and I was like, dude, what kind of a way is that to come at somebody? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like.
But you was just all love.
I was just so like enamored by it. Like, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody else that's passionate about food. You know what I mean? And he's kind of in my circle in a way. You know what I mean? If he's as cool as Viviana, your sister was really nice to me as far as working in marketing. It was really, really cool. Nice. So. I mean, all in turn. So here we are. I've gone to the restaurant at least like 4 or 5 times. I've enjoyed every single time. The bartender
he's been supporting since day one.
Yeah, I fucking love the aesthetic. I love the ambiance, the respect that they had. Like for instance, we did the 8 hour. I just shout out you and your chef. I apologize. What was his name? Chef Spellman. And also Chef Oscar. Them three put a 8-course dinner together. That was amazing. I'm telling you, like really amazing from flavor to plating.
So it's like a different menu some nights and stuff.
When we do special events like that, yeah. Well,
what was that special event that you
brought in?
Knocked out 8 courses?
We brought in my mentor, Chef Spellman. He's the one that lifelong mentor. He's taught me since I was 16, since I started cooking, and just to have him in the kitchen, he's a master chef. He knows everything you can possibly know about food. It was really cool. It was really fun to bring in my mentor and have him talk to the team and talk to the guys and teach them the way he taught me. He's a little nicer now.
So you've been cooking since 16 years old?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the first time you started, like, how'd you know?
Professionally, yeah.
How'd you know that you had that passion in you, dog? Like, how'd you figure that out?
I just always liked to cook. I always liked to be in the kitchen. I always liked to bake. I always liked to do desserts. I was always just into it.
Did you work in restaurants at that 16 or
At 16, I got my first restaurant job at 2900.
That was a fine dining, wasn't it?
That was fine dining.
Yeah, I remember that.
Damn, right off the rip, bro.
Right off. But that's because, so in high school, I went to the vocational program at Riverside for cooking. Mm-hmm. And that chef, which is my other mentor, got me in contact with the owner of 2900. And he's like, hey, I have this kid. He's really good. He wants to wash dishes, like whatever.
Hell yeah.
I started there washing dishes, doing the floors, and then I slowly... the
best chefs come from the dish pit, man. Seriously.
Oh, for sure.
It's crazy to see though, dog, like, because like it's like a whole sub world. Mm-hmm. Cooks like and chefs, you know what I mean? It's a sub world. Like barbers have their sub world.
The back of the house is a sub world in general. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying though. Like it's cool to see like you guys heard of each other. And y'all was like, oh well, chef's this, and what does he make? And let me see his menu. You know what I mean? That's the first thing I'm saying. Like, who's his barber? Let me see his cut. Let me see his fade. Dog.
Is that a thing in barber too? Like you guys, let me see his cuts. Or?
Yeah, bro. Damn. Off the top, like, who is this guy? All right, cool. Let me see his page. Oh shit.
Yeah, I've gotten to know that side too. That's why I think we came together too, because we're getting bringing those two worlds together in a sense. Yeah, for sure.
It's a crazy world. With that, those two make one. You know what I mean? Crazy one.
Just to make my point though, on that 8-course dinner, one thing that I was really impressive was the flow of the whole thing. Because like I said, the presentation, ambiance, everything was good, aesthetics great, but the flow of the whole thing, like wine was poured. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for coming. You know, did you see the menu? Blah blah blah. Okay, here's the food. This is what the food is. This is what the flavor is gonna be. Enjoy. Give us a minute. Their thing, cleaned up on a tiny basis, next wine, clean up, here comes the next plate. It was very like flowed very
That's
well.
Carlos. That was all Carlos, bro. That's
Yeah.
all. That's my other business partner. He's the one that takes care
So
of
you
all of
own
service.
Lola Rose then?
One of the owners, yeah.
Okay.
But I take
Yeah.
care of the food wise. I take care back of the house.
back of the
kitchen.
house.
Carlos,
the most
he's the
important,
one.
the heart of the business right
Yes.
there. And shit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's-
Carlos
that's
takes care of
fucking
all that
dope, man.
service,
Yeah.
and he made sure everything came out smoothly, and he does a great job.
Yeah.
Shout out to the team on that.
So how long after 2900? Where did you start working after that? Like, what was the progression until you got to Lola Rose?
So at 2900, it was too advanced for its time. I want to say, like, El Paso was not ready for 2900 when it opened.
What year was this?
Oh, this was
12?
Oh yeah,
12?
yeah, was it
2012?
2012? Just around there, yeah,
10.
2011, 2012. Actually, 2011, because I was still in
Okay.
high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, so then they were closing down, so I was trying to find something else, and then through my other mentor from high school, he introduced me to Chef Spellman. And then Chef Spellman was doing competitions and doing Chef of the Year and doing all kinds of stuff.
Here in El Paso, they
In
have
El
those
Paso, yeah.
competitions here.
Real
Well,
quick.
no, he's from El Paso, but we would go out of town.
Okay.
anyway.
So that's when you got into competition.
Yeah, 'cause it's
So let me
fun.
ask you, because like my one regret from culinary school is that at the end of it, I wasn't confident enough to put myself into the competition. So what was that like to be invited and then also to be actively into the competition?
I think if I wouldn't have gone with him, I don't think I would have done it myself personally.
Okay.
But seeing him do it and how he made it work and how easy it was for him,
Right.
I think I was kind of like,
I can
"Oh,
do
shit,
this.
I could
Yeah,
do this.
I can do this. Yeah,
so
hell
I
yeah.
got the confidence for this. But when I met him, he was doing Chef of the Year for the whole United States, and
Damn.
we were practicing like 3 times a week, all
Practicing,
day.
like-
Yeah, just practicing.
Sheesh.
We would practice and practice and practice.
And who would eat the food?
Just random people.
Oh, that's
He'd invite
awesome.
my parents sometimes. He'd invite his wife or his
Cool.
kids, like just random people.
Sure, that's
really,
great.
really fun
Really
times.
cool.
But doing the whole competition thing, you learn so much. You learn so much more than just
In that fast-paced time.
and just not even that, but just being organized, clean, professional, and always just looking good while you're doing it. Like you just learn so much.
I bet.
What do you mean by looking good? Like you still gotta have that flavor
gotta-
to yourself, like that swagger.
Well, yeah, that too. But you got to be clean. You got to be organized. Like, yeah, you got to be able to do all that and still be clean and like,
Right.
Yeah.
like
And
nothing
then,
happened.
Doing that without
cross-contamin-
a splatter on the
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
shelf. and-
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
cross contamination. You're separating stuff. You know what I mean. You look like you know what you're doing, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Keeping a chef clean chef coat, stuff like that. There's a lot of
Yeah.
like for that's kind of like personal chefing in a way because I'm in front of the guests at all times. You know what I mean.
Absolutely,
So it's
yeah.
always mise en
Clean
place
all the
and
time,
keeping
yeah.
things organized and concise. You know what I mean. And then like my apprentice wants to like borrow some of their tools sometimes, and those are the things that sets you apart. You know what I mean. If you have your own tools and you just
Right.
get it done and get out. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he's in
That's the service, you know
Yeah.
what I
So
mean?
being that setup of the culinary the competition, I'm sure you learned a ton.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then that leadership to push forward to your cooks and stuff.
Honestly,
like
bro, that to hear that you started so young, bro, that's fucking dope to
Yeah,
me, bro. 'Cause,
honestly,
you know what I mean.
honestly,
We're
yeah.
always talking about how like I just recently got my shit together. You know what I mean? I'm 36 years old. This happened like 3 years ago. You know what I mean? I went through a lot of shit and whatever. So now I feel like I'm in that mode where I'm
Yeah.
like ready to take life on and I'm positive and I'm just, you know what I mean, meeting my goals, trying to or at least
Absolutely.
trying.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that, you know what I mean? It's that you started so young, bro. Like where'd you think that came from? As far as in a young age, like
I just fell in love with it. And I wanted to be the best, and I always tried to do more than I could handle. Right? So I always did extra stuff. I always had 2-3 jobs. I always just tried to do as much as I can so that I can not work as hard when I'm older. Right?
that's what's up.
That's something I learned from my dad. Work while you're young, so that you have all that energy and you get all that money, everything you got to get. And then when you're older, like you just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Enjoy your family, enjoy time with your kids. Like
That's the
all
way
that.
you should do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And shout out your parents. I happened to be sitting right next to them for that 8-horse dinner, and they were really, really pleasant people.
Oh, thank
And-
Where'd you
so
grow
much.
up? Where'd you
Thank
grow
you.
up, man?
Here in El Paso?
Yeah, but like
on,
what?
I grew up on Yarborough and North Loop. So,
Valley.
the
Valley boy.
for sure.
Same.
Valley boy.
What school did you go to?
Bel Air.
Oh, there you go.
I
Bel Air
grew
too.
up on Loma Land and North Loop.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, we
That's
were.
what's up,
Mountwood,
man.
holla.
Hey,
Rams
East
out there.
Side. Wood boy.
No, I graduated
what's up,
Bel
man.
Air, but then vocational at Riverside. So.
Okay, yeah, hey. alumni right
There
here,
you
dog.
go.
Big BA, baby.
Done.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man. No, it's like a pleasure to see that, you know what I mean, from the same neighborhood and shit. Like that's
Absolutely.
dope. Like, doing his thing, dog. Got a restaurant, and so you did competitions, you know what I mean, and then, well, let me ask you: has there been a competition in El Paso?
Back then, there used to be quite a bit through the ACF.
Where?
Here in El Paso.
But where would they like hold
They would
them?
do it at National Restaurant Supply in that kitchen that
In
they
that
have.
kitchen they
Yeah,
have?
we would have some competitions in there. El Paso Community College used to host some competitions, but that all died down. I think
maybe that's a facet
'cause
you
of
guys need
COVID,
to,
but
you know what I'm saying? Like, take advantage of, dog.
it's fun. It's fun to
yeah.
have that community of chefs together.
Yeah.
Where everyone works together and does things together for the community.
I'd love to do
I
that.
think,
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. That'd be
we should
great.
come
Yeah,
back
definitely.
to something
yeah,
like
man.
that.
Yeah, I'm taking on some endeavors. Like it's still on my future board, but like I'm never gonna take it down. You know what I'm saying? But like I had put a lot of little things in my on my plate this year, so I'm gonna tackle those and then just keep it there. You know what I mean? I keep
Yeah,
pushing
for
it off,
sure.
but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So so right before Lola, dog, what were you doing? Where were you working right before Lola Rose? And what made you say, I want to be my own boss? Like, I want to work for myself.
So right before Lola, I was in New York. I was in the Hamptons. I was
Sheesh.
working at this restaurant called Crow's Nest. Really popular restaurant on Long Island. It's at the very tip of Long Island. It's in Montauk. Very, very busy restaurant. I mean, crazy high volume, really high-end people. A lot of really high profile people too that we would do. A lot of
One
VIPs.
percenters, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so I was there for the
Empty.
past 6 years, and we would work 5 months and then we were off the rest of the year. Then work 5 months and then be off the rest of the year. So we would travel a lot. Me and my wife would go out. We lived in Hawaii. We lived in Alaska. We moved to Spain for a while. We toured Italy and France. Like we traveled a lot because of that job. So thank God for that job. 'cause
Yeah, that's what's up.
that's a whole nother-
How'd you land that job over there in New York? Like, where'd
Damn.
you?
That goes back. Let's see. How did I get that job? Damn. Okay. I think we got to backtrack though. So
Yeah.
when I was with Spellman, I did a lot of competitions with Spellman, right? We did culinary Olympics in Germany. We did the Coupe du Monde in France. We did all kinds of stuff with Spellman. We traveled
This guy's
so much.
international,
I
man.
told you, bro. You think I'm playing?
That's what's up, dog.
Hey,
That's
nah,
dope,
man.
bro. That's what's
No,
up.
no. So I did a lot of competitions with Spellman, and we were still working at Helen of Troy. He was the private chef for the executives at Helen of Troy. So then we were done with our competitions, and I was like, Chef, like I need to keep going. I need to do something else. And
Yeah.
he was ready to retire. I mean, he's an older chef. He's cool as hell. He has
Yeah, he really is,
all
yeah.
kinds of cool stuff. So he's like, well, you need your degree. And I was like, well, I'll just get it at APCC. He's like, nah. He's like, no. He's like, you're going to go to the best culinary school in the U.S. I was like, okay. So he helped me apply to CIA in New York, the Culinary Institute of America. So I went there. So I got my degree. I was trying to get it as fast as I can. So I went out there for 13 months. I did the fast track. I got my degree and had a lot of connections in New York, because I
You
graduated.
started making connections out there.
Graduated with all the students, and they all become chefs, and so one of my friends was working already in the Hamptons, and he would always tell me, like, hey, come to the Hamptons, like there's a lot of jobs out here, like check it out. At that point, I had moved to Martha's Vineyard in Boston, and I was working at a yacht club in the kitchen, and I was doing that. Is also seasonal work, so
Yeah.
you would work 6 months and then be off 6 months. So I was doing that at the meantime, and then I wanted to come back home. I had already missed home. I was gone for like 2 years. I was like, oh, let me come back home. I was executive chef at El Paso Country Club for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I was like, damn, man, like I really miss the ocean. I really miss the East Coast. Like I need some of that.
Yeah.
So then my friend hit me up again one morning. Like it was a long week. And then randomly he's like, hey, you know what? There's an opening here for a sous chef. Like, why don't you come up? And I was like, you know what? I think this is the perfect time. Like our lease for our apartment had just gone up. Like we're about to renew. We're about to get a new car. And we're like, you know what? Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
what's holding us back? Like,
Oh, yeah.
what's holding you back in El Paso? My family's doing great. My brothers and sisters all have their families, So me and my wife packed our shit and we left. Not
Nice,
knowing
dude.
anything, dude. Not knowing
Nice.
how much we were going to get paid. Not knowing where we are going to live.
Is she a chef too? Does she cook?
No, she was managing the hotel.
Oh.
So she's still in the hospitality industry, but she does
Do y'all
other
have kids?
things. No kids. Yet.
Okay, that makes
A
it
fur
easier
baby.
to move. Makes it a little
That
easier.
counts
to
too,
move.
dog.
Yeah,
100.
thank
They
you.
in trouble, man.
100.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
100. Wow, that's great.
Go,
That's
dog,
great.
that's
experience.
a
Yeah.
journey and a half.
Wait, did
bro.
you get to
So-
the part where so you got to the Hamptons, right?
So, yeah, so then I was a sous chef at Crow's Nest, started there, and then it was just so beautiful, dude. I fell in love with the place, ocean, beaches everywhere. Like, it was really cool, really fun. So the chef that was there was retiring. So I was a sous chef, so I was next in line. So they offered me the position, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So then I did it, and I just fell in love with it. Fell in love with the team, all the guys. Like, everything that we had there was really cool.
Must have been nice.
We had our own apartment. Like, it was really fun. It was a really cool beach area. Like, hang out by the ocean all the time. Like,
Awesome.
but we worked.
Sure, I'm
worked a
sure you
lot.
did. Yeah, hell yeah.
We worked. I don't think we had a break. So those 6 months is like you're working the whole year. So
Yeah.
we worked all day, every day, and it was fun. It was really fun, really cool.
Probably a great experience just getting
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
to be able to, and because
Working-
El Paso's so small, bro, and we have that small town mentality, and
Absolutely.
a lot of people from El Paso, they end up going out of town,
And-
they come right back, like,
Yeah.
and they kind of like self-sabotage it, you know what I mean? They start partying out there, whatever, and then that's their excuse to come back home. Well, I couldn't make it, you know, because they
Yeah.
didn't stay focused like my guy right here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Staying
1,000,
focused,
1,000, yeah.
making that decision, staying out there. I'm sure it got hard at points where you're like, shit, you know
Oh,
what
for
I mean?
sure, yeah. We missed so many birthdays, so many, like Father's Day, Mother's Day, like so many
Yeah,
things.
there's always sacrifices.
Yeah,
there's
a
always
lot of sacrifices,
yeah.
but it was worth. At the end of the day, it was worth it. I mean, we miss it all the time. It's really fun out there. But like knowing the owners of Crow's Nest, his name was Sean McPherson. He has a bunch of hotels in New York City. He has a bunch of restaurants on Long Island. Just sitting with him and having his big mind mentality, or I mean, I don't know what you want to call it, but
Infinite.
everything
It
was
just-
easy for him. Everything. And I worked for all these billionaires and millionaires that everything is easy for them. And I'm like, well, why can't it be easy for me?
Right.
So
And it's not the money; it's the mentality. Is
It's
what
the
you're
mentality.
saying? Yeah.
You don't
what,
need
what,
the
what do you think?
money.
What's that differential between the regular person and that?
So, well, I'll tell you this. So this last job that I had, I was a private chef for really high-end people in Sag Harbor in the Hamptons. And this guy, he was an older gentleman, Mr. Worth, really high-end person, like billionaire, like out of this world. He's like, billionaires don't become billionaires because they work hard. They hire people to do the job that got degrees.
Yeah.
He had no degrees, and he was a billionaire. Like he had so much, but really humble man, really cool guy. And he would always tell me, I just hire someone with that degree to do the job for me, and I just make the money. I was like, yeah, good damn point, guy.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
He just sees the bigger picture.
Cool.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
We're in a consumer mentality where we need to get a check. You know what I mean? And not thinking
Absolutely.
like, oh wait, we can be the boss if we just align the dominoes the right way and then knock them over when we
Getting there is a task. Getting to that point is where you're
That's
like
the hard part.
Yeah, because you can't just say, "Hey, I want to hire you to do my dream."
You actually could, man.
Off the rip, it's hard
I
though.
mean,
right?
it's hard, but you can
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, there's all
Yeah.
these high-end executives that'll come in and do the job if you pay them well, you know?
Yeah. When I was at that entrepreneur conference, I was telling you, telling you, Vic, that this gentleman was up on the stage telling you, things are going bad. Work hard, right? Grind harder, grind harder. In a way, okay, yeah, that works. But the actual thing is, you should work less. Hire people to put in those positions. He was
Absolutely.
saying, I hate doing administration, but my administrator loves doing administration. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of finding the right people for the right position. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, how did you find Chef Oscar? Like, that's a wonderful chef, man. And
Oh, man.
and
Me
both
and him
both
go
of you are so
way
humble,
back.
man. Both of you are so humble.
No, we go way, way back. So Oscar started with me at the El Paso Country Club when
Okay.
I was the
When you
chef
came
at
back
the
for those
country
2
club.
years?
Yep.
Mhm.
And his uncle was the banquet manager.
Mm-hmm.
So Oscar was coming in as a server. And then his uncle, Flaco, he's like, hey, chef, like my nephew wants to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, bring him in, bro. Like, we'll just have him start washing dishes.
There you go.
And I was so mean to him, bro. Well, I wasn't mean. If he's watching, I wasn't
You
that
just
mean.
push him. You
But
just push him
I
to his
pushed him
limit.
a
Yeah,
lot. I was
hell
like,
yeah.
you better scrub every single sink in
Hell
this
yeah.
in this place. And
No
he
grease
did, and
nowhere,
he
yeah.
listened, and he went far. He did a lot.
That's what you gotta be. You gotta be like that, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so then
Stern.
he moved up with me. He moved up. He started cooking. He worked the line. He ran banquets. He did all kinds of stuff. And then I told him, I was like, it's time to go to school. Like, it's time to get out of here. Like, get out of El Paso for a little bit. Like, you need it as a culinarian. Like, you need it. Just leave. So he went to school in Austin or San Antonio to Escoffier, and he got his degree and learned, and he stayed out there. He started working. And then when I went to New York, I called him up, and I was like, hey, well, why don't you come and work over here?
Jeez,
so he came out, and he was with me out there for 2 years.
Wow. Well, were you exec at that time? Or
Yeah,
and he was your
exec,
sous?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and he was running the lines and everything. He was learning a lot, and then he stayed in New York. When I came back, he stayed in New York. He worked for David Burke. He worked for a bunch of really cool chefs. Did his own thing, lived his own life, and then he came back to El Paso, and then we opened Lola.
Wow.
So
great.
No,
That's
Oscar's
awesome.
great.
Yeah, definitely. And just so humble, just to give you an idea of how humble these guys are. As a chef, I was just, I told you how I introduced myself. And then later I asked, you know what, your octopus is phenomenal. And they're like, oh, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Well, you know, how do you do it? It's not like they told me, well, we boil it and then we grill it. No, they gave me the recipe front to back. And I was like, oh my God. First of all, I cooked it like 5 times. I can't get the exact flavor, but thank you so much, man. That's it gives me like inspiration, because like I try to get that flavor. Then I'm like, what if I do get the flavor? I want to get my own flavor. I'm trying to like add different things and different colors and stuff like that.
That's dope though, because a lot of people are not willing to do that type of stuff.
Absolutely
you know
not.
Especially
absolutely
a recipe.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's got to be one of your signature. I mean, that's your best. One of your best.
That's one. Yeah, that one sells a lot.
I love that dish. I'll go every time I go in there. I'm gonna have that no matter what. And especially if I'm with somebody who hasn't been there, like they have to taste that dish for sure.
That's our second best-selling dish. Yeah, the first one is the ricotta.
Oh, ricotta. Which one's
the
that?
Ricotta, the whipped ricotta with the Mediterranean bread.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's so light. Yeah, that one's really, really good. It's like hummus, but lighter.
Y'all making me hungry, though.
Yeah, it really is good. Dude. It's something different too. It's like if you don't like hummus, you'll like this. Like it's really, really good, really tasty. And then one of the first times I went, I had the one with the tomatoes and the olives. I forget what the name of the recipe is. I don't know. It was a sea bass. The Ricotta Cruzano.
Oh, the sea bass with the Romanesco sauce?
There you go. Yeah.
That's the one.
That was very good. That was very, very good. So, I mean, from that day on, I was just like, whoa, that's a wrap. I mean, they have depth and flavor. The presentation's great. The food's great. I mean, Zach at the bar, I know you don't have him anymore, but everybody else is just as good as far as knowing the menu, knowing the cocktail that's right for you and stuff like that. It's an experience right there, dude. There's fine dining right there at Lola Rose.
So you guys match the cocktail with the food?
And
I mean, you could choose whatever you want, but I mean,
it's
like if you tell the bartender, like, well, what do you suggest with this? They'll know what flavor profile to go.
Yeah. Especially that's exact. Like he would give you, wine. You want this? No, you want that? You want this? But like at the 100, like he would just keep coming at you until you're like, just please, just I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like, and then I'd be like, let me get an old fashioned. What type of a bourbon would you like? You know, we have this, that, and the other. I'm like, damn, dude, just give me the best. You know what I mean? Like seriously. And he knows what the best is. So it was a great experience. Seriously.
That's badass, man. That's
for
cool.
sure.
I gotta definitely soon.
Yeah, 100. We'll make it. We'll make it happen, dude. We'll make it happen for sure. I'll invite you and your lady again. See what happens.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the food's that good. You just gotta go. You know what I mean? We'll get you an Uber, so you don't have to. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Yeah, no, I got to, man. It's just like I'm such a hermit sometimes, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I just be in that. After I'm done with work, it's like I'm done.
Oh, for sure.
Feel you. Yeah, you like barbecue a lot too. You like doing backyard barbecues. And shit.
Stuff with the family and shit like that, man. You know what I mean? It's rare that we actually get out to sit down in restaurant and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
does it happen to you, chef, when they invite you to the barbecue and then they're like, "Hey, can you grill for us?"
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no. As much as we don't mind, it's just like it's typical. Like we're waiting for it as soon as we walk in.
They give you the tongs right away.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But the worst part is, I remember my uncle or my cousin. He was on the grill, and I was like, "Hey, you want some help with that?" And I was like, "Do you want some help with that?" You know what I mean?
You
He's
feel
like,
like
"No,
you
I got this. I got this." Yeah. He's like, "I got this." I'm
Get
like,
out the way.
Sure. It's all good. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah,
Fam.
So going back to your story, dog. Right before Lola Rose, this is happening right before Lola Rose. So what's pushing you to become your own boss and open up your own facet, your own business?
For sure. So working for all these millionaires and billionaires, dude, I was just like, you know what? Like, why can't I do it for myself? And we've been missing home. Me and my wife have been missing home. We were gone for so long. We're like, you know what? Let's go back home.
How long were you gone at this point?
We're gone we're going on our 7th year. That we were actually like gone.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like,
plus you had already did 2 before that, before right?
That,
okay.
Yeah. So we're like, you know what? Let's go back home. Let's buy a house. Let's settle down, and let's open a restaurant. So I got with Carlos, my business partners, and we started planning things out while I was over there. I remember flying in. We had a meeting. It was 4 of us. We had a meeting. We wrote down everything that we had or what we needed, and we had it planned out. We were like a year out, and then COVID didn't help at all. So we were like a year and a half out, and then
So
it
you
turned
guys-
into 2 years, bro. We're like, what the hell is going on?
Sheesh.
But you didn't lease anything at that point yet.
Oh, we already had the place.
Oh.
We had that place for a while, dude. Like
Wow.
it took a while, but COVID and the city and all kinds of permits and stuff, it really pushed us back. But we're good.
Yeah, no,
We're good. It
absolutely.
happened.
Yeah, once
hell
it
yeah.
finally
It
opened,
happens.
yeah,
Finally
definitely.
opened December 1st. You
December.
said this past December.
This past December, yeah, going on our 8th month of being open. So
Great.
good stuff.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
100%, man.
And what was like you said, let's go back to some of those struggles, dog. Like when you were in that struggle, you know, the permits ain't coming through and stuff like that. Like what were you telling yourself? What were you doing to push yourself through to
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because I can imagine having like all the skills, all the experience, all the right people in the right spots, and then
Well, dude, that's funny because we had already moved back and we were here. I want to say 3 months, and we already bought our house. We had moved in, like we were set. We were getting ready to open Lola, but the permits got pushed back so far. We're still waiting. I got another job, bro. I went back to the Hamptons. I was a private chef for that family,
Yeah.
and we lived with them. We stayed with them. My wife was the house manager, and then I was the the chef for the place. It was just 2 people. It was just the wife.
like a household.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Mr. and Mrs.
They
were.
need a house manager.
Yeah.
Damn,
Oh
bro.
yeah. And then they had
Personal
Wow.
assistant.
They
Right.
had-
Okay. Yeah.
they had 3 nannies. Now she had 2 assistants. He had 1 assistant, and then my wife was the house manager, and then there was 2 what do you call them, nannies, just taking care of the house. So it was a lot. It was a lot, but it was fun. It was cool.
The
Like,
whole time you have your house down here.
Yeah. Yeah, so we told my sisters, my sister-in-law to move into the house to take care of the house and watch the dogs and
Jeez.
stuff. So she was living there for like 6 months, taking care of the place, and it was
Man,
cool.
so like okay, so the summer of last summer,
That was last
you were
summer,
ready
yeah.
So then when did it come? So from the summer to December, when did it actually happen that you're like, okay, it's gonna pop
Let's
off?
see, we moved back in November. Yeah, we moved back the beginning of November because that's when all the permits came through. We were ready to go. We just had to set up, and we already had people hired too.
Yeah,
Dude, it was
nice.
It was wild. We had people hired that were on payroll, and we still weren't open.
Was Oscar here at that time
Oh,
too?
shit.
Yeah, Oscar
Yeah.
was already here.
Awesome.
Oscar moved back from New York.
You were
just
paying
to
your
open.
people even though they weren't working.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they were working. They would set up, put the tables together. And
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Yeah.
Crazy
But-
time, man. Crazy
Yeah,
time.
and then we
dude.
opened in December. December 1st was our.
I hope that COVID thing never happens again, man. That was such a
It was wild.
pushback for all entrepreneurs and people trying to do things on their own and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
But in a way, it kind of gave you like more time to plan and more time to kind of like execute it the right way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or
It
would you
did,
say?
but we were already ready. That's the thing. We were
yeah.
done. We were like, let's go, let's open. Like we need to go.
we need to start creating
Just the
revenue.
yeah, just the city was taking forever with our permits. So
They
figured it
do.
out.
They do though. They do though.
If I do remember correctly, I remember. Did you guys have a food truck? Did you have a food truck at one point?
we do have a food truck. We have
I mean, like,
It's
but then did you run one? Not for Lola, but did you run one?
we ran one in the Hamptons.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we would do tacos in the in that
And was that
combi.
niche? People love that?
Oh yeah,
Because it's not.
Out
I'm
there,
sure
for
they didn't have it
There's-
out there.
There's
Was it
no
yeah.
like
Mexican food out there.
Traditional Mexican food.
Yeah,
out there.
just tacos. Only tacos. That's all we would do.
Yeah.
We was
What,
making a killing out there.
Dude, it
dog.
what do you think
Yeah.
about the food truck experience?
Our food? Have you seen our food truck?
No,
You haven't
was
seen our food truck, the Volkswagen?
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
seen
so
it.
that's the food truck. So it's tiny, bro.
Yeah,
Like
it's tiny. That's what I'm saying.
so-
You should
so
see
that
this
was-
thing, dude.
That was wild.
You like
That was
those?
too much.
You can't even
those
stand up
hippie-
in there, right? You're
No,
like,
Well, the top would come up, but it was so
Oh,
that's
shit.
so hot and so tight. Like it's just not really a food truck.
yeah.
Did you ever do that in El Paso?
We did it a couple times.
But not like a rent, like
No,
all the
no,
time.
we did
thing. Oh,
parties.
okay.
We did maybe like 5 parties.
I think that's
total.
maybe the one picture that that Vivian had showed me was like, yeah, this is what he does, and it's like you were in
Yeah.
that. I was like,
Yeah,
holy
we did
shit,
that as
that's-
like just a side like.
Because in 12, I had a food truck. It was me and another chef. We tried to do savory crepes and sweet crepes.
Nice.
But here in El Paso, it didn't really work out. We were selling menudo in no time, bro. Yeah, it was serious.
Bro,
Like,
it's
we had
hard.
enough questions for quesadillas and tacos. We were, got to go with the community. Got to start going with the community. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
hard to stay true to your brand. Like
Yeah.
El Paso's tough, man.
Yeah,
Like,
we still had those ready to go, but like it was like we had to give them away to get the flavor out,
Yeah,
Do you have that challenge, bro? Like,
Sometimes,
being in El Paso, people expecting like gourmet Mexican food or whatever, but it can only get so gourmet when it's.
I mean, we could only get so much Mexican food. Like, we're trying not to do Mexican food. We're Spanish Mediterranean, and we're trying to stick to Spanish Mediterranean. But we do get those people that'll come in and they'll look at the menu and they'll be like, "Oh, we don't understand any of this. Like, we're leaving." And it's like,
and they leave?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know they leave. I'm about to say try something or ask
no.
about it. Jeez.
Oh, we'll try to sell them as much as we can.
Yeah, I know. But wow, that's
Some people
interesting.
just are not open to new things, and it's. I mean, that's what's tough.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You are catering to that person that
the traditional type of people.
But the people that love the niche have money, bro. You know what I'm saying? They come from that environment where they're more likely to try these new things rather than just fucking chilling.
That's why it's probably a great location.
And that's what it is, bro. It's
for sure.
Because beans, rice, and shit, all that shit's like cheap. You know what I mean? It's feeds a lot of people, and that's what we grew up on and stuff like beans and rice with chile relleno, beans and rice with this and that.
I think you have regulars. I know that have that income to be able to go to your restaurant, which is great.
Yeah, we've been able to get some really good regulars too.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think for a special event, I think that would be the place to go, because no matter how much you're spending, it's spent right. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. You know, I mean, I see these commercials for like Olive Garden, and I even get duped into it. I'm like, let's go, and then I'm get there like, what the heck did I do? You know what I mean? Like, my mind got mushed out on that commercial. You know what I mean? But this is real food. This is real flavor. You know what I mean? Like top to bottom, where you can tell like with that how long they take to cook the octopus and the delicacy they put it out on. It's I don't know.
Thank you.
I think El Paso is opening up their palate. I like how there's more and more new restaurants, fusion restaurants, and culinarians coming in and bringing their menus and stuff like that. So I think it's going to get better. It's going to get better and better as far as people opening up their palates to fine dining. I know, for instance, my clients when I step in at first, it's always like, oh, Mediterranean or chicken and steak and potatoes, until I start implementing different pesto flavors or just a sun-dried tomato and they're like, wow, this is very good.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we can go down this road, and then all of a sudden I'm making coco bond for them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's
how does that work? Do you ask them what they want, or do they just say like, hey, do whatever you want?
So
like, we want chicken, and that's it.
I have 5 like weekly clients, and one of them will check off on the menu. The other ones just accept whatever I cook for them. Like,
nice.
I'll shop for them and then just cook for them. But there again, though, I accept any and all criticism. You know what I mean? When they're like, you know what, that coco bond really didn't have like a lot of flavor, and I'm like, you know what, I needed another hour on that cooking. You know what I mean? And I get great feedback. I get my recipes really down packed that way. You know what I mean? And they're not like, oh, like, you don't experiment on me. I'm not actually experimenting. I'm trying to get the right flavor, and they see that too. Nice. I'm never gonna cook something that's brand new. I always research. I do R&D in my home, in my kitchen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So when I bring it to them, I'm always giving them my best. But like that feedback, oh man, it makes my recipes so much better.
So let me ask you this: if you guys were ever to collab and have chef in your kitchen, what's your dish that you would bring, or what would you try to implement?
Well, I mean, he probably seen I do the Wellington a lot, but just because I started off with that, it was my first dish out of the bag. You know what I mean? I wanted to be, that one was the hardest one that I ever done, and I realized all the technique to make it really nice. So, that one for sure, but also like a chicken roulade. Like I know how to make those, like a salmon roulade and stuff like that. But this man has got an extensive history and extensive recipes. So, I mean, I would only learn. I'd love to be a sous chef in any kind of kitchen.
For sure.
For sure.
You want to come in.
Yeah,
we'll do something.
Oh, that's
We'll announce something pretty soon.
You got to, dog.
Yeah.
You'll see.
No, I'd love to. Yeah,
that's opportunity, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And
just like adding
like I
to
said,
your
I
resume.
appreciate that 100%, because like I don't know if any other chefs actually that I've introduced myself to and had the embrace that Chef Marco has. So I appreciate that very much. It helps me, it inspires me to keep going. You know what I mean? Because like I do a niche thing, and I'm always like kind of by myself. You know what I mean? So I don't really get feedback like, oh, have you heard about that? So like, nah. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I really appreciate that.
Now that's how I felt like when I was by myself in the shop, because for that you don't know, but this took 3 years. I had the place. I was in there by myself, you know what I mean, grinding it out, employee here, there, whatever. Marketing. And now I'm finally to the position where it's like, okay, all cylinders are rolling. So I definitely feel like when I was by myself, I didn't have nobody to like, you see other cuts and you're like, damn, that he's putting out fire. I gotta get on my toes too. I gotta be
sure.
on my
Definitely,
shit too.
yeah. You gotta realize what the market is
Yeah,
and
bro,
where it's going and stuff like
you
that.
know what
For
I mean?
sure,
And that's something that I feel that you definitely need pieces of, because you're so selective with your clients. You know, you're by yourself with Joey.
Yeah.
You kind of need to throw yourself in that atmosphere where like, oh shit, let me see, get that behind the kitchen type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do be going. That's why I go to most of the restaurants
No, yeah,
around
that's what I'm
town.
saying.
I
Like,
try to
that's why
get the
you do what
flavor
you
of
do,
what
yeah.
people are liking. When I look at that, what they actually order and stuff like that. Like Taco Neta, you go there. Oh man, I love the flavor there and the ambiance, the vibe.
Yeah,
servers are always
really
on point and stuff like that. So I don't know. I try to like get the flavor, like the suadero tacos. Trying to get that like recipe and see why that tastes so good and why they like that and stuff like that. And they're garnished too, the way they do like crudo onions, cebolla cruda. I never liked that, but in those tacos, I eat it all the time. I don't even think twice. So
Yeah.
you know, trying to figure
Where
it out.
do you go to eat, dog? Like, if obviously
Where do I
you know
go?
Lola Rose, that's
How about the typical chef question? Do you cook for yourself?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, you don't mind. It's like
Yeah,
a
on my
normal
days
thing.
off for sure. Like yesterday we cooked, but like I don't go out of my way to make sure I cook. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
sometimes I'd rather just go out and get service.
100%.
You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
like,
That's what I always
'cause
say.
that's what we do. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
we should, but yeah, no. Like sometimes, like if I'm just having a lazy day, I will cook at home. But I don't know. Like where do we go to eat?
like, what's one of your top restaurants other than your restaurant? Because I feel like
He probably keeps it real. I mean, he still goes to Chico's Tacos.
Oh, for sure. We grew up on Chicos.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
would go every weekend with my family. I mean, it's shit, but bro, like
It's memories more.
yeah,
it's more.
dude, it's more.
does it
Yeah.
still hit though? Like, do you think it still hits?
Sometimes
It's the same
It depends
flavor.
which one you
What
go
do you
to.
go to, man?
The
Which
one
one?
on- the
Because
one
everybody,
on-
that's a thing,
Yeah,
right?
you
Where
gotta go
depending-
that one,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one.
the one on Alameda.
For sure.
The one
In the
front of
valley.
Yeah,
Has to be. Has
that's
to
the
be.
good one. Yeah, I like that.
I'd
one.
go,
like
but I
that
get jumped. You know what I mean? So I send the Uber. You know what I mean?
Uber Eats that shit.
No,
dope,
no,
man.
it's fucking chill. I go down there. I go to what's that place? The Culiacan, Birria Culiacan. You ever been there?
I haven't been there.
Nah, that's just
Is it
there's
good?
just different random places that Birria is at. I just always check it out. You know, what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
No, like I really enjoy like 1700 House. I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. You want to impress somebody, like a date, definitely go there.
Like what? Like Wesso, Ensign 9.
I haven't been to
Ensign 11,
Wessel. Haven't been
stuff
to
like that.
Ensign 11.
What's that other one right next to it? It's Ensign 11 and
Ambar.
Ambar.
I
Ambar.
haven't been to Ambar. Like, I just haven't had time, bro. I haven't had time
Yeah.
to do much. We went to Casa Pantera a couple months ago. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Really like them a lot. They
Yeah,
do,
yeah, they have
they do
a
some
good-
really cool stuff.
Okay.
Good menu ambiance and stuff too, for sure.
I know this because you're a chef and you say you don't have a lot of time to cook for yourself, or you're
Yeah.
always on the run and go. So sometimes you be eating like shit, right? Like especially me too, dog. Like I be picking up
Sometimes.
McDonald's. I just picked up a McChicken yesterday. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, well, actually, the past 2 weeks I've been training, so I don't eat shit no more.
Okay,
You know what I
okay,
mean? I make
that's
sure I
what's
get
up.
some kind of
That's
good
what's up,
protein. You know
that's
what I mean?
what's
Like,
But what's your go-to, dog? What's your go-to fast food?
Go-to fast
most
food?
grimiest shit ever.
Damn.
besides Chico's,
Other than
damn, I don't
Chico's.
know.
I know,
Other than
that's
Chico's.
hard.
Fast food.
Let's see. I think
I'll be hitting Taco Bell that $5 box. Still gets me. I'm sorry.
I haven't been in a while. Probably Cane's.
There you go.
Cane's
Hell yeah.
chicken,
Canes
yeah.
for the gains. Yeah.
100,
man.
100.
Haven't been there in a minute though.
I'll be like, extra coleslaw, let me get another dip. Hell yeah. Shit is good, dude.
Hell
Shit
yeah,
is good.
man. But like, it's crazy, dog. Because chefs always telling me, man, like, I'm over here cooking these 5-course meals for people, and you leave out of there starving and shit.
Yeah,
bro.
for
You know what I
sure.
mean? It's
Yeah,
crazy,
that's
dog.
true.
Yeah, all we do is
That's how
taste.
it is.
We never really eat. And then, except for the story I was telling him, told our audience, my apprentice Joey, I told him to taste the steak. In a personal chef arena, I mean, that's just,
You're in somebody's kitchen right next to the dining room.
Yeah. And I was just saying, damn, you should taste this. I wasn't being like completely serious, but I was like, damn, this is fucking good. You should taste this. Here he is at the dish, and he's like chomping down on it. And I'm like, Joey, no. Because the doctor's looking right at him, dude. I'm just like, no. It's just crazy. He's a hungry type of person. So if you say eat, he's going to eat. You know what I mean? So
True.
I got to remember that.
Don't be eating on the job, man.
Don't be eating on the job. We taste, dog. Taste. You know what I mean? And your fingers. And then wash your hands right away, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
What's the next move for you, though, man?
Next move. So right now,
Are you like mastered in this, what you're doing right now? You feel like you've reached top?
I don't think we'll ever reach top, but I mean, we're always trying. But right now, we're working on our second concept.
There
It's
you go.
Madre Rosa. It's a taqueria.
There you go. There you
and
go.
That'll be
catering
What's
to
your-
El Paso
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
Had
What's your-
to.
What's your
tacos.
location?
We're gonna be in front of the outlet mall.
Oh,
I
right.
don't remember the address off the top of my head, but it's right in front of
In that little like huge
there's like a
complex.
shopping center in
Yeah.
front of the outlet mall.
It's like Pizza
there's
Hut.
there's a Pizza Hut. We're on the opposite side, next to
okay,
this
cool.
like nail place. Really big place, huge. It's nice. I
That's
put my
what's
food
up.
truck in there too. The
Jeez.
Volkswagen's in
Nice.
You put the
It
whole
looks
thing
nice.
inside the building.
Yeah.
Oh
there. Yeah,
shit.
it's looking badass.
That's
You guys
cool,
need to
man.
check it out.
When do you
cute.
expect for that to be open fully?
Oh man.
Permits you're waiting on still, man?
Actually, we're passing permits this week, so hopefully,
up?
hopefully soon.
Congrats.
We're looking like the end of September, beginning of November. So
Nice. Always getting bigger.
That's taco
awesome, man.
season,
That's
dog. You
awesome.
wanna,
That's
cuddle
awesome.
up
That's
with
the
your
best
boo and
Yeah.
Eat a
squeeze some
taco,
tacos,
bro,
baby.
Yeah.
yeah. So we've been going to all these taco places. Like that's why we were in Monterrey last week and checking out some new stuff. See what we could bring. So
R&D, bro. You know what I mean? Got to
Yeah, a lot
research.
of
So it's gonna be like upper echelon type taqueria.
I
No,
would
it'll
say-
be a traditional taqueria. Traditional where you feel like you're in Mexico, bro, eating a taco like in a nice
They don't even have
ambiance
Coronas.
place,
It's
you know what I mean?
Coronitas, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there you
a
go.
bucket. That's
what's
cool.
up.
Yeah,
man.
but we're making our masa from scratch, like our nixtamal
Tortillas?
and everything. We got all of our equipment from Mexico to grind the corn and everything. So
What?
it'll be cool.
It'll be like a expo kitchen too, or what? You can just
Yeah, it'll
see
be an
it?
expo kitchen. Yeah,
That's awesome,
Yeah, so
man.
we have an open kitchen too. You can see everything. We just bought a big trompo, 130-pound trompo, massive. It's
Trompo. What is that?
What is that?
the al pastor, the big the
Oh,
meat
the
that
thing
spins.
that turns.
Oh, where they have the meat, that big piece of meat.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Maybe you
so-
could teach me on that because one of the clients I have has one in his pantry.
Oh, there
dude.
you go.
I think you just slap meat, right? You just keep putting marinated
Yeah,
meat
you
on
just-
top of
yeah.
there, yeah, and then just let it cook.
Just let it cook on the spit.
And you
Yes,
just-
sir.
Yeah,
Slice that
that's what's up.
motherfucker off. Putting that
Hey, I'm gonna be on. Check my
Yeah,
videos.
wow.
So coming up. Check my story coming up, dude.
Yeah, so that's what we have coming up next, and just working on other projects. I mean,
So you're
Have some
not
cool
done.
stuff.
Like this is once this opens, you're ready to got
Oh,
something
yeah.
else going. That's
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
that's
For
amazing,
sure,
dude,
for
and very inspiring.
always keep doing more.
Especially for me, like I'm always like I do too much, and then I took on this training, and then I'm gonna I gotta endeavor to do some meal preps with collab. At a gym and stuff like that, so I'm like, you know what I mean, like everything's happening, you know what I mean, like, but I feel like once I get to this goal, like I'm waiting for the next one, and like I don't even know, is the next one a restaurant? I don't know, but
There you
I'm
go.
like just keep getting bigger, keep like the goals get bigger, the ideas get bigger, because it's possible, like you said, it's like you get in the realm and then you realize it's possible, like, you know what I mean, keep going,
Yeah.
keep going 100%. But man, that's got your horizons. They just kept getting bigger and bigger throughout your years, man. That's really cool.
Thank you, yeah.
Me personally, I moved. I lived here in El Paso till I was 10 years old, and I went to South Florida. I lived there with my parents till I was 18. Came back to El Paso, graduated, and then went to culinary school in Arizona.
Nice.
After that, it was pretty much on me. You know what I mean? Getting chef experience and stuff like that. But man, I swear, in the kitchens, I have minimal experience. It was more in a book, watching other chefs, comparing, getting a flavor, and then asking if people like my food, working in like local restaurants here, and then just soaking up as much knowledge as I could. And man, once I love and respect people who have a history like you and bring it to the table, but also have a certain humbleness, willing to share their passion and stuff like that. And that's what makes everybody grow.
Because it takes a lot, man, to, like you said like earlier, pre-show, that you're not a big talker or whatever. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot for somebody to get out of their comfort zone in that way, especially because it's literally just taking up time from, somebody's busy day or whatever, you know? So
100, yeah.
we truly, dog, appreciate you coming
Oh,
through,
for
man. I
sure.
know
Thanks
you're
for having me.
I know you're a busy
Absolutely.
guy and shit, but people like this, dog, is like, you've traveled, you've worked, you've been in the realm of billionaires, bro. Like the energy, you know what I mean? It's something like, I say it all the time, you have to be around these people. How do you differentiate who you want to keep in your life and who do you don't, man? How do you go about that, like cutting off that negativity? Have you dealt with that at all? I know you have a good support system with your lady and stuff. That's dope to hear too.
Yeah, honestly,
that's dope to hear too, because
Yeah, just my whole family, bro. In general, they've all been supportive of everything and anything that we do. So, really cool. But let's see, how do we? Honestly, I don't think I've been put in that position. The negative people just fade away. Honestly, like I've had some negative people come and try to work for me, but after a while, they just like push themselves out. You know,
just
what I
keep
mean?
doing your thing and
Yeah, and they're gone. So, but I can't really think of a situation where I'm like, man, I need to get rid of this person. You know, like
Yeah.
they get rid of themselves, honestly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can see that too, because like they don't keep up. They are not able to keep a clean station, or just the animosities build up too much for them or something like that. Yeah, for sure.
Or we've had people come into stage, or like to work for free and like check out the kitchen and see how they work and if they're a right fit. And some just won't ever come back. It's like, oh, perfect. There you go. Done.
Yeah, that's the
Don't
purpose.
waste
That's the
my time.
purpose.
Don't
of
waste your
stage.
time. Don't waste my time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
stage is basically you come in as a chef ready to work, and they give you recipes to do. They see how you present them and how you cook, how you work in the kitchen, and then you kind of the chef gets to know the kitchen and the people they're going to work around, and you get to see if you could, if it's going to work for both of you, because it's ego, it's personality too, not just the person. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely. And the whole team too, the way everyone works together.
Yeah.
And thank God we have a great team, great staff. Everyone works really hard. They're all passionate about what they do, and they love it. They've all been really.
And what would be your advice to find people like that actually love it and the passionate about,
Or what to look for, you know what I mean?
that actually find your vision, you know what I mean, that see your
Before
vision.
I hire anybody, I ask them to come and stage.
Right.
And then that's how I avoid getting people that don't even
in front of the house, or
No, that's all Carlos.
okay,
That's all
okay,
Carlos that does front of the house.
This is just kitchen talk.
Yeah, just back of the house, just
Yeah,
kitchen
'cause-
talk, and see where they're at. And then in the interview, I also make them understand that you're starting at the bottom. Like, you don't come in as a manager. You don't come in as owning your own station. You come in washing dishes first, and then you start prepping, and
absolutely.
then you'll slowly work your way up. And
Absolutely.
some people don't like that, and then
Right.
those are the ones that are
They feel like they should
and
be
the ones
ahead.
that do have passion and do want to learn and do want to do extra, they'll stay and they'll do what they got to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Those are the ones that stand out, man. Those are the ones. That's what we were talking about that at the shop, because I cut up chef every week before we start the show.
Nice.
And I'm like, just dealing with the employees or whatever, and I'm like, bro, like, initiative is something that's not around anymore, dog. You know what I mean? You don't
Absolutely.
see a lot of initiative out there. You know what I mean? And it has to be kind of like that. Do it instead of like, yo, man, let me help my boy out. Let me take some initiative and get it done for him. You know what I mean?
Like big picture stuff, you know what I mean?
Big
Like,
picture shit, yeah, dog. Like, that's little problems that you can avoid just by having initiative, man. That's it. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. So whoever needs to hear
You're
that.
right. Absolutely.
How
We're
about, sorry, go ahead, man. I was going to talk about that 8.
Yeah,
You
okay.
want to hit that, or?
Yeah, we're gonna go 8 to educate with my boy, dog, Marco Olivares, dog.
Chef
Lola.
Marco Olivares.
Lola Rose. God, man, this is dope. Dope to have you, man. First question: any earlier goals that you've met, that you made for yourself, and you feel like you
They
met?
could be as a chef or as an entrepreneur, but something that you just at the gates was like, I'm going to do this, and then
Let's see. I always told myself I wanted to be an executive chef at 22, and I was at El Paso Country Club, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, if I can meet that goal,
Everything
let's go.
else is gonna cake.
Yeah. And there I had people that were like 3 times my age, and they were like still cooking and stuff, and I was like, damn, this is.
And do you
This
feel like
is
your tool
tough.
bag was big enough to handle that at that time?
It was.
Man, I think that's what.
I got a lot of pushback, but at the end of the day, I mean.
Yeah, you learned. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for
How,
sure.
what was
Learned a
that
lot.
The
response?
kitchen is a rough place. I mean, if you had a tool bag, I'm sure these guys were like, "Fuck this kid," you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Like,
they
yeah.
were, and no, we made it work. I mean,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I was about to ask that. How'd you deal with that? Because a lot of people have that like, fuck this kid,
Yeah.
man. I'm older. You know what I mean? How'd you deal with that response of like some of these older heads probably not realizing
Yeah.
who you were? You know what I mean? At that age.
I mean, I don't lead by telling people what to do. I lead by example. So I would show everybody what to do and how I wanted it done. And I think that really showed everyone, like, oh, this kid, like, he actually knows what he's doing. Like, yeah, let's listen to him, and my job will be easier at the end of the day. So
Yeah, I think it makes
That
a
was the
difference
hardest.
if you're young and you're like a maverick. Like, no, I'm gonna kill saute. Fuck you. Yeah, you're dying and you're just doing it by yourself. Versus, no, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna be part of the team. You need help on your mise en place. Let me help you.
Exactly,
Those are
yeah,
those
just
are
helping
different
out, for
different
sure.
things that I don't know, like
being humble enough to come in and
yeah,
still do the
it's hard to
regular
hate
shit.
somebody.
Yeah.
It's hard to hate somebody like that, and then you just become gelled. You just become a team. You know what I mean? At that point, and that's hard to come by because there's a lot of egos in there, and like somebody will just come in and just want to be their own little maverick. Sometimes.
yeah.
So, but he's right though. When you're actually that person that does more, those people get weeded out. You know what I mean? It's not their environment. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just. You know what I mean? They can't flourish the way
Yeah.
they'd like to.
The way
so.
they want to. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Second question: do you feel like you're in control of your destiny? Do you believe
You
in
know, you
destiny?
can skip that one. This motherfucker's in control. He's doing everything he wants to do his whole life.
That's true.
I mean,
Do you believe in
I
that
don't-
type of shit?
I do believe in that stuff, but I also do believe that it happens for a reason.
Sure.
I don't have control of what's going to happen later, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I do as much as I can to line it up to where I want it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a smart ass.
Yeah, I like
that's
that,
a smart
right?
answer, man. Like that. Do you feel like you've broke through?
Broke through.
Like
As an entrepreneur,
as an
or as a chef,
entrepreneur,
or as a chef.
as a chef, you know,
No,
and
no,
what
I
you
don't-
do.
I don't think so. Not yet. Not yet. I mean, I think there's still a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of learning that needs to get done, and just a lot of extra stuff that we need to do.
Like when you said you would go live in all these places, would you go and pick up, behind the kitchen in some of these restaurants and kind of pick up recipes and stuff?
Yeah,
like
for
that?
sure. That's why we would travel, just to see their culture, their type of food, what they like, what they do.
So how about, like, I mean, just for me, for instance, I've always had dreams, as a chef, different types of dreams. But December hits, you open up Lola Rose. I mean, you got a packed house. Everything went great. You're slapping fives with the sous chef. You don't feel like you broke through at that point? Like you kind of, like from 16 years old and 20 years old, and then you're 22 exec, and this is your restaurant now?
I don't think so, because not even all of El Paso knows Lola Rose. You know what I mean?
True,
Like,
true.
it's not
mean,
about
but
what,
You want it to be a staple, like
nationwide. You know what I
Nationwide,
mean?
yeah.
Like worldwide. Like why not? Like, I mean, it's all, and like El Paso's small. Like
Yeah.
there's other places
little
in the world. Yeah,
point
just a
right
tiny
there at the
little
edge of
dot on the
Texas.
map. Like, I don't think I've broke through until everybody knows who you are or knows what your restaurant is. You know what I mean? Or what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
trying
for
to
sure,
do.
for sure.
Like, it's just, there's a lot.
Damn,
There's a lot
so
that goes
good.
into that question. We could
Yeah.
go a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
on that.
no, I
feel
feel
free,
you.
dog,
No,
feel free.
no, I feel you. I
Feel
feel
free,
you.
man.
Like, we're
'cause
just
I think,
we're just scratching the surface
yeah,
right now.
no, I
mean,
feel you on that, because like I think me personally, as I meditate and I broaden my horizons and learn new recipes, learn new cultures and stuff like that, like it's like, okay, this is what I'm capable of. But I've learned recently that to not put a cap on what I'm capable of, you know what I mean, and what I'm able to earn, and even, you know what I mean, like it's infinite. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to please anybody. I'm just trying to push my art out. This is what I want to do and show people, you know what I mean? So that whole personal chef experience in the home is what, like, if you ask me, it's not a breakthrough like you're saying. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's my breakthrough. It's actually not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be known as Chef Clay in El Paso, you know what I'm saying? That would be my breakthrough. But he's talking about national and worldwide, and I'm like, holy shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what he's bringing that light to you.
Yeah.
Why not have somebody fly you out that's in California?
Right, but it's just
whatever.
on, and I appreciate this as a blessing, because on, people and other entrepreneurs, other people that I meet, keep telling me, stop putting caps on your dreams, stop putting caps on what you are capable of doing. You
There's
know what I
no
mean? And
limit.
there's no limit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a fucking
And I don't mean to
soldier.
be-
No ceilings in this motherfucker.
Yeah, and I don't mean to sound like a
No, it's
like
a humble way.
You
You
know what I
come
mean? Like, I don't want to be
completely
mean, or
humble,
like if
chef.
that was your breakthrough, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I could say Lola Rose was my breakthrough to open my own place. You know what I mean? But I
Absolutely.
mean, there's just so much more that we can be
Absolutely.
doing.
Thank
that-
you. Yeah,
You just
thank
broke
you, chef.
through.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
broke through into another level, dog. You know,
Yeah.
there's another level to break
Absolutely.
through to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not put a cap on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the breakthrough moment, like, everybody interprets it different. You know what I mean? Like, I asked Ricky recently, Ricky's a MMA fighter that I train at his gym, kickboxing. But yeah, I just asked him, he's training right now for a fight August 4th. I said, what was your breakthrough moment in this training camp? And he right away was like, oh, my breakthrough moment? I was in a cage with 45 fresh fighters coming in every minute. And I was at the end, like, I can't do it no more. I can't do it no more. I'm just done. Like, I'm beat up, but he's in the corner and he's trying to fight out of it. And he said that, you know what if this guy was going to kill my daughter or hurt my daughter? And he just found something else in him, and he came up and he finished, right? And I was like, man, that's his breakthrough moment. And it pushed me to be like, man, there's so much more out there, dog. You know what I mean? Your mental, your physical, there's so much more out there to control, to manipulate, to be able to be ready for all these moments that happen in life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, seriously. So I'm blessed and thankful that people like you come in my life and tell me, don't put a cap on your life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Broaden your horizons and keep going. Don't stop. So
There is a lot out there. I mean,
absolutely, there is.
How do you get through a tough day in the kitchen, dog, where it's super busy, dog? It's like on a Friday night, fucking Valentine's Day or some shit like that. It's
Yeah.
super stacked.
And you gotta-
The morale's kind of a little low. What are you telling your team in that moment?
Those are our favorite times. So that's when we're thriving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Thriving in chaos is what I always say. Like, we're always so chaotic. We always have so many things going on, not only in our personal life, but even in the kitchen at work, that when you're in the kitchen, you're actually like focusing on your work and you're putting your passion onto what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So thriving in chaos is what I always, like, that's what we do. That's like, we love those days where you're like, you have so many people in the books. The dish machine broke. The dishwasher called out. The sink's clogged. It's like, like those
Grease traps coming up. And
dude, start smelling weird. Like, dude, those are our days. Like, that's what we do every day. Actually, like, like, it's not really.
But people like Chef set up his team with mise en place. Everything's in its place. So when the going gets rough, everything's in its place. So you can fire it off.
And we go deeper than that too. We have safety nets that we add to the mise en place.
Okay.
So if something falls through the cracks, we have a safety net to help us, right? So if a dishwasher calls out, we have one on call that could just come in. You know what I mean? Like, we have a maintenance guy that's always on call. If anything breaks, there he is. But those are like little things that we set in place just in case, because something always happens. Dude, at the end of the day,
Murphy's Law, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What can go wrong will.
Absolutely.
What inspires, dog? Who inspires you, or what inspires you? Is it a moment? Is it a person? Is it a thought?
What inspires me would be, or who inspires me? I have a lot of inspiration, honestly. I follow a lot of great chefs.
Say both. Say what and who.
Yeah. So I have a lot of really great mentors that have helped me in my life and have pushed me to be who I am and where I've become and do all these things. But I also follow a bunch of chefs that started from nothing and have hundreds of restaurants around the world. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's where I get all my inspiration from, is just keep pushing, keep going. Like, if you read their books, like, they talk about how they went bankrupt or something happened, they closed their restaurants, and they were still able to keep going and pushing and do things. So I think that's where my inspiration comes from.
Who? A person? Do you have a person?
So person would be my wife. Yeah, she inspires me to do everything I can actually do, because, goddamn, without that support system, bro, like,
the days are hard. Yeah, the days are hard. Yeah, you got to have that support system. And I did the only I witnessed it at that dinner. I mean, the support, just to have her there with you and then stuff like that. It's like, man,
she's my biggest critic. She's the one that says, like, this is good, this isn't good. Sometimes she'll be like, I'm the real executive chef around here.
Which is probably the truth.
No, she's the one that's like, oh, this was good, this wasn't good. Like, change that because I was weird. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Nice.
That's what's up, though, dog. Honestly, man, like, it's cool to see that also too, where you're successful and you have that power couple type of feeling to y'all's relationship.
The
you know what I mean?
Companionship, the respect, all that. Yeah, for sure.
But just like being involved and how involved she is, that's cool. Sure. I talk about that all the time. Where my girl, she's in education, but she's always talking about how you talk about, like, I want to get out of this job. I hate this job. I don't want to be here. But she doesn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Her passion is, I know she has passion in its teaching, but it's like, implement that. How can we implement that together? So that's dope, man. Big ups on that, man. For sure.
Thanks, for sure.
Should we ask this question? What's the difference between cockiness and confidence? Is that
yeah, we kind of throw that at people. And I think it might be a good question. I mean, do you see a line? Do you see...
Yeah, for sure.
Do you deal with those type of chefs where, they come in and they're...
For me, I think you can be cocky if you could back it up. But if you can't back that shit up, like, bro, what are you doing?
That's an exec talking to you right there. The exec loves cocky people. They're like, oh, please come,
sure.
please.
Like, you could run the whole kitchen?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's see. Do it. I dare you.
Oh, my
And then
God.
they fail, and it's like, bro, you're just being a dick now.
Yeah,
Get the
exactly.
fuck out
Now
of
you
here.
look like a
schmuck. Now you're just an asshole.
In front of all the fucking other chefs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of cocky people, a lot of ego. A lot of ego. But
Clashing.
It's like, and if you could back it up, for sure, by all means, be the cockiest person.
So that would be confidence. To me, that's confidence, right?
Yeah.
Cockiness is doing what you just said, is thinking you know more than you know, and then failing at it.
Well, I think you come in cocky, and then if you could back it up, then it's just confidence.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
But if you come in, well, I don't know. If you come in confident, then
if you come in cocky
and you can't back it up, yeah, you're just a
dick.
Exactly. That's how it is sometimes. But good question.
Yeah, it's the eight to educate. We I think some people take it maybe the wrong way. Like I don't know. Like I try to be confident. I don't know. I don't go
because
down that
like I
cocky
feel
end.
that shit too. Because he brought something cool to light that it's like, yeah, I'm cocky, but I can back this shit up. You know what I mean?
We've all been there too, where you're like cocky and then you go in and you're shit. It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Now it's me. God damn it.
Exactly. I feel that.
So.
I think sometimes too, like I'll be so prepared and ready that I'll walk in a little cocky, and I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have acted like that. You know what I mean? Like, damn, it's just a little bit like, I'm so prepared. I brought everything.
I'm wilding out right
I'm
now.
early right now. You know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden you're like, why the fuck did I act like that?
Because
things are not. All of a sudden the shit hit the fan. You know what I mean? Like, oh
Bro,
shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
we've been
Or like,
one
you know,
little
something
thing.
falls through the cracks, and then now you're like, oh shit.
So yeah, stay in the moment, stay poised, always, dude. Yeah,
Stay
absolutely.
poised, man. What's one of the hardest triumphs that you've been through, Doug? And maybe, you know, in your whole career, not just with Lola, but what's the hardest triumph that you've overcome? Would you say?
Hardest triumph.
So I got you on live just real quick.
No,
to
it's
let-
all good, bro. Who's on there? Anybody?
Uh,
Couple
people.
The hardest triumph would be, I think it was coming back to El Paso, coming back home from
That fast-paced city life.
Exactly, fast paced.
to have to slow down.
Always by the ocean, always hanging out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then just coming to El Paso and the heat, bro. God damn, the heat here is wild. I haven't had this heat in a minute.
Well, it's been like 2 weeks in a row. That's weird, dude.
Dude,
That's
it's-
that's
You know
odd.
what? I'd be talking to people because we're older guys, dog, and I don't remember it being this hot when we were kids,
Yeah,
dog.
bro,
Like,
I agree.
Nah, shit's changed.
know
huh?
what it is, baby.
Yeah,
I don't, dog. It's
I
like
think that
double
was-
digit, triple digits, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, bro. Like, we in the red, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I know it's bad. It's in the red.
I think that was the hardest part, just convincing myself to come back to El Paso and
I
starting a
mean,
life here.
So you were missing home, right? You were 7 years in, you were missing home, but it was still a triumph to come home. Like, why was that? Since you were missing it, you'd think it'd be like, oh, well, let's just go home. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. But it
Yeah.
was still kind of like, did
Just
you
leave-
really,
because
did
you're
you
giving
really want to
You're
come
giving up a
home?
lifestyle, right?
You're giving up the lifestyle. I think going there, not having a life, not like knowing what you're gonna really walk into, and then setting it all up, having it ready, like you're set, like you're good. We had great jobs, like everything was fine. We had our own place, like it was nice. And then coming back to El Paso and starting all over again, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, and here we go.
Man.
So, I think that was the hardest part for me and my wife too. That was.
You guys
That was tough for both of us.
you guys miss back east? I mean, have you guys talked about like maybe getting a house up there or like a condo or something like that?
Well, yeah. Now we say we're gonna open a restaurant out there. So someday,
That's what's
someday we'll
up.
get out there.
That's what's up.
We'll see.
Be right
we'll
up
see
there.
when
dog.
that happens.
Be right up
'cause
there with those big
damn,
guys. You know what I mean?
It's
Hell
not,
yeah, man.
it's not that hard.
Would you name it Lola Rose? Would it be Lola Rose or would it be
I think a Lola Rose in the Hamptons would hit. It would be really cool. It would be really, really cool. But
Lola Rose Hamptons coming soon? You putting in, you manifesting that
There
shit,
you
man.
go.
That's dope, dog. To
Yeah.
see that.
So I don't know. Is this on there? The confidence. Where does your confidence come from? I mean, is it just because you've been trained so well? You know that you're a great chef. You know that you're
I
putting out
think
the
after
right
opening
passion.
so many places and seeing the process on how everything works, and
The
then
do's and
seeing
don'ts.
exactly, like after a while, you just know it's
Yeah.
gonna work. You
I
know,
think that's true.
After a while, some ideas, you know, like, oh, okay, that's not gonna work. And then some
That's a
ideas
risk.
are like, hey, you know what? That's actually a great idea, and it's gonna work because when we come up with an idea, we sit down and we do numbers right away. We write down all the numbers, how much money we're gonna make, how much it's gonna cost to run the place, how much labor we have, and we'll sit down, we'll run numbers, and then we'll be like, oh, you know what? That might work. Let's do it.
The menu's not even on discussion because you know that's just gonna hit, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well, then we kind of put like a fake menu just to put a price on what the average ticket price will be, and then we'll see.
Okay.
So,
There's a process.
And what's the average ticket price, dog, for you to be successful?
but that depends on a lot of stuff, like the rent, the utilities, how much labor you're gonna put into it. So, there's a lot of factors that go into that one.
Okay.
the size of the menu, how
Yeah.
labor intensive it is. Yeah.
What area it is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, your cocktail menu or what's in the drinks, stuff like that.
That's
It's a lot.
dope,
It's a
man.
lot.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
What do you think that process to actual opening the doors of Lola? How long does that take? Like 9 months?
Yeah, just about. We
Like
were
just under
we
a
were
year?
right at 7 months. We were right at 7 when we started
Mhm.
our first meeting, to where we had the menus done, people hired. Well, not people hired, but how many people we needed hired.
Mm-hmm.
It was just around 7 months.
Damn.
So It's a process.
But I mean, that's pretty quick.
Honestly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. That's
Pretty
quick.
fast, dog. It took me fucking 3 years. You know what I mean?
It happens quick. Yeah.
That's what's up, bro. Another inspire. It's kind of like the same inspiration question, but do you remember a specific moment in time that inspired you, dog? Like that, you know what I mean? That helped you out, maybe picked you up when you were feeling down, or not necessarily a person, or just like a time frame in your life, maybe a year, or.
Can't really think of.
Was it that like 16-year-old date that when you're just like,
I still can't get over that shit though, dog.
Those days were, I think when I first started, those days were kind of just like, just get through the damn day, bro.
Really?
Like, just because I would go to school all morning and then go to work all night, and then I wouldn't get out till like 12 or 1 in the morning, and then wake up, go back to school, and do it all over again. I was like, damn, like, am I really gonna do this? Like, jeez.
And you've been doing it since.
And I've been doing it since. Jesus Christ.
Life of a chef.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Yes,
What
sir.
it is, what it is.
You have to have love, bro. You have to have love and passion. For this industry, because
100%,
if not,
yeah.
you're not gonna like it.
Yeah,
Yep.
just the fact of that, a warm kitchen, like, I won't say hot because it's hot, but I mean, warm kitchen, motherfuckers will be like, but chef. I'm like, what
Yeah, for real.
Oh,
The
no.
front of
It
the
gets
house.
hot. You know what I mean? I'm sure, dog.
Yeah,
Damn.
it gets hot in that kitchen.
Greasy. You start feeling that layer of like,
Oh, yeah.
you know
And
what I mean?
it's,
Like
it's an open fire grill too, and
Yeah.
we have a wood burning pizza oven, so it gets extra hot in that place.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And your hands smell like garlic all the time, fresh garlic all the time.
smell like everything, dog.
Smell like everything, but
How do you pay it forward, man? What do you do to continue this, like, you know, energy coming to you? How do you pay it forward to make sure you keep that cycle going?
I try to teach as much as I can, right? To the cooks, to our staff, to whoever we have, right, in our life. I try to teach everything that I've learned from my mentors, from my travels, to my cooks. I think that's how I pay it forward, and I really try to. I sit them down and I explain, this is why we do this. You know what I mean? Like, everything's a process, everything's a science. So the way that chicken cooks is because of this. Like, I try to break it down all the way down to like basics, to where they understand everything.
Have you ever thought about opening? Because I talk about it all the time. Opening a school, because there's not that type of like upper echelon type school for you know, culinary here in El Paso, dog. And it's crazy because we're right on the border, you know what I mean, of El Paso to
that new place
Mexico.
at Southwest University, they're doing a good job. They're doing really cool stuff there.
Yeah.
So
bringing in some national chefs or something like that.
Have you ever thought about that? Maybe, you know what I mean?
Eventually, maybe later on down the road, you know,
Yeah.
like when I'm all set up and stuff. Later and older.
I felt the same way.
Older.
Somebody, because I offered, they just told me to apply. They didn't say like you have a position, but like they told me to apply, and I was like, God, I want to do that in my latter years. I don't want to do that right now. I feel like, you know, I still have something.
That's
to do.
later.
You think that's something when you're kind of like already?
I'd love to do that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like in my.
But in your later years, it has to be.
Yeah, not has to be. I mean, if there was a right opportunity, it wouldn't have to be for money. I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know.
What you got to offer, man? Maybe, you know.
Yeah, if I was gonna teach in New York or in Italy or something like that, I mean, shit, hell yeah. I mean, I just can't give up what I'm doing now to go teach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I thought about it at that point. I was like, damn, I have to get up this, that, and I could only do this. I'm like, whoa, to teach? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah, right
later on.
For sure. And like, but it's another thing when you have apprentices, sous chefs, stuff like that. Like, that's a big responsibility.
So
you know
when you
what I mean?
say sous chef, what does that stand for? Sous. What does that mean?
That's the next in line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
So
who
there's
your right hand
executive
man.
chef is a top, right? And then there's chef de cuisine that's right under him that oversees everything. And then sous chef is the one that's actually doing the work. He's actually there working the lines, checking the walk-ins, making sure the orders are done. You know,
Where does that term come from, sous? Like, what does it mean?
just
French
under
term.
sous, under
Oh, okay,
chef.
under
Mhm.
sous. Okay, cool.
There you go.
Little
Yeah,
vocabulary
for
there.
sure. And
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think, dog? We finished the 8
That's
for
a
8.
wrap. That's a wrap. Damn,
dog.
Chef
Yeah,
Marco, appreciate you coming down,
for
man.
sure, guys.
Seriously,
Thank you so
every time
much.
I come by, you've been
Thanks
nothing
for
but humble,
having
so I
me.
appreciate you 1000%.
Absolutely,
My
guys.
boy, I appreciate you coming
Absolutely.
through, man. Your story was great, dog. It's super inspirational,
Uh-huh.
man. I'm
Thank
ready to
you.
go out there and fucking just start grinding harder, dog. You know what I mean?
Every time we get a dog, this is awesome. That's why I love doing this. I hope y'all feel inspired like we do.
Well, now hiring motherfuckers to do the job for me, dog. That's what that's what I'm leaving with.
Yo.
Our show's
Put the
called
clippers
Grind2Hard.
Put the clippers down already.
Yeah,
dog. You know
man.
what
Our
I'm
show's
saying?
called Grind2Hard. We gotta be like change
That's
the
the
name on
hardest
that shit.
part. That's the hardest part.
Grind
Yeah.
too hard. Gonna be grind less.
Grind less, pay somebody.
Pay-
But yo,
Yeah. And just-
every Friday, 9 a.m., you know what it is. Grind
Yeah.
too hard. Yo, you guys
Check out
have
the
us.
episode this week. We got Chef Marco Olivares
Marco
from Lola
Olivares.
Rose.
Peace.
Peace, y'all. Thank you so much. Stay up, stay positive, stay
Stay
motivated,
grinding.
stay grinding. I like that one. That's a new one.
Nice.